What is a master service agreement? A master service agreement is a contract between two parties with an ongoing project or a business relationship that provides a flexible system for completing a project over time while making decisions. It's exactly right. It's a flexible system. So when you have your TNCs, I'm referring to as TNCs because the master service agreement is actually the framework of your entire project. So that is why I'm using the word TNCs. Don't get confused, okay? So it is flexible. Why? Because see, today you are on a project and you want to add another project and you feel that, okay, one of the criteria that is mentioned in the master service agreement may not be good for the second project that you are adding as a second SOW to the master. What do? Either you change it in the master service agreement, and if it is okay for the first SOW, it's fine, or you can actually put it in the SOW that the terms and conditions of the SOW will prevail. So it's very easy. There's not much to be done. You don't have to worry that now what will I do? Do I have to, make a different agreement and get started with the second piece of project with the same vendor? No, it's a flexible one. Either you change it in the master service, see if it is not affecting the SOW one, and if not, then mention one line in the SOW that the TNC mentioned here will be overruling master service agreement. Very simple. Yeah, that is the flexibility I find in this particular agreement. More so, an MSA purpose is to define the contractual relationship boundaries, establish a system for completing the work that needs to be done, and provide an efficient way to keep the project on track and resolve any dispute that may arise during the project's course. So that's the different kind of clauses that come in an MSA. It's no different from any other contract. All the major clauses that are required, you will find it in a master service also, from defining your dispute jurisdiction to defining your indemnity, liability, warranties, reps, relationship, a scope of service, all of that. That's what is being said here. Let's move on. Why bother? The prosecutor says you have to roll over. Okay. I don't know if you guys get the joke, but yeah, it is a joke. How is it different from a regular contract? It's designed to be more agile, more flexible, open-ended business relation. Downstreams, the agreement for specific services, which consist in the SOW. Non-standard request means if there are certain requests, it can be accommodated by way of the SOWs. Reduce chances of litigation, yes, and dilated negotiations, because both the parties break their heads at the very beginning for negotiating all the clauses, so that later the work can be executed rather than looking into the agreement. That's what happens in an MSA. Please note, it will be, if you are creating an MSA, the TNC will be such where it will be kept in mind that it's for a longer period. There is a chance of 3-4 projects being done with that particular person or particular party. Hence, all kind of negotiations will happen before. Helps with determination of accountability quickly. Yes, because in this contract, if you are making a statement of work, there's a particular project where I tell you, let's give me an example. Say I tell you that you have to build this particular building. Very hypothetically, I'm giving you that example. So now I will assign a specific person to that particular project who will be the project manager. So I'm giving the accountability to that particular person. So then you can easily determine to whose throat has to be caught if there is some error. And it always happens in an MSA that people are very specifically put under projects and they're named to be known who's to be looked at when, if anything has to be spoken about or addressed about or to be held accountable for. Yeah. How is it different from a regular contract? It generally contains all similar. Guys, you guys stop chatting, it distracts me. We will take it all, or you can close the chat for me at least, okay? Generally contains only payment terms, product warranties, intellectual property, liability, venue, warranty, work standard, dispute resolution. It may also include geographical stipulation. So it is, I would not say it is some people think, oh, the only major difference between a master service agreement and a regular agreement can be found by way of looking at the SOW. Here, n number of SOWs can be attached. In a normal contract, you have just one specific work to be performed. In a master service agreement, there are n number of projects to be performed. That is one of the major reasons this and a general contract will differ. Okay. Yeah, of course, there are clauses which are there, such as we see work standards, you have those milestones defined, the timelines are very specific, which you usually do not find in a regular contract. Okay. There will be quite such 2-3 clauses which will make it different, and the SOW if you have to look at it. Yeah. Yes, okay. Purpose of a master service agreement. But the most simple way to understand that this kind of an agreement is used, that you break your heads at the very beginning so that you can save a lot of time later. That is what we have been doing. Yeah, so when the website developer is there and the marketing team is there, they actually sit down and break down their heads. The negotiations go for very long. The timelines to be decided, the money to be involved, the milestones are decided. What if there is a breach? What will happen? Who is going to take care of it? What liability the other side is taking for it? What if they don't, cater to the milestones? How will it be looked into? Will it be looked into as a breach at the very beginning? Will there be a cure period around it? What if a particular deliverable is not met? Can we immediately terminate? Because there are conditions, because this technology industry moves very fast. I cannot defer my timelines. Usually there are no differing of timelines. If there is a particular timeline, you better deliver before or on the date, but later it's of no use to me. That is how the technology industry is. Yeah. So what if you don't? All of this is decided beforehand, and that is why a master service agreement, for curating the master service agreement, it takes time. But once it is set, a lot of projects can be done, in no soon time under it, just by simply creating an SOW. So it simplifies the contract, of course, less time and advanced negotiations. I spoke all about all three of it. Yeah, let's move ahead. Purpose of master service, the second part of it, it makes the contract simple. When anything is so specifically defined, of which you have broken your heads from every corner possible, that if not this, if not this, if not this, if this, then this, if this, then this, if this, then this. Like if there is a breach, this is the first step, this is the second step, this is the third step. So if everything is so well defined, your contract automatically becomes simple. Yeah, you don't have to refer to maybe any second clause also in that agreement. Advanced negotiations, that's what I'm saying. When you decide so much in detail, when you're negotiating every part of it, it is making the contract simple. And of course it is advanced negotiation. You're thinking of the worst case, all scenarios possible before even the execution of the agreement. And once you have done it all, you're spending less time on the T&Cs. You are actually into the execution mode. Sometimes when we are doing a regular contract, sometimes the execution doesn't happen because the regular contract is taking so much of time, and we as a legal person, we have the right to take that time, because if something goes wrong, then the first question will be asked by the CEO to me, that Rachna, how did you overlook it? How did you pass it to be executed? Because if I give it a go, it goes to the finance and there are payments made. Sometimes there are advance payments, sometimes the advance payments are of huge amount, yeah, and it can be a huge loss to the company. Hence, advanced negotiations and later if leading to less time is of high value. Hence, a master service agreement. Sometimes the company wants to start, like they give you an agreement today evening and they want to start executing tomorrow. That is what happens in a normal contract, and then it's very difficult to negotiate it from all angles. Sometimes you just have to avoid a few things because the business needs is far faster than expected. So I would look at it from that angle also, where I would say that I would prefer a master service agreement over a normal contract because it allows me the space to be very, very specific. It allows me the space to negotiate as much as it's needed so that in future all projects can be taken care of. That is one major practical example that I can cite in terms of a master service and a regular contract.